I mean, and almost impossible in a lot of cases. We've only really been able to service clients which have had a sort of really urgent need for a survey. A lot of purchases have obviously fallen through or been halted where they can be, but obviously where they can't be, we have to appreciate that we're only a small cog in that purchase wheel as being a building surveyor, and we have to sort of carry on the service and obviously just make sure that it's we're complying with government guidelines and practicing safe social distancing. So yeah, and I think this week, obviously with the news, I think we're due to find out from Boris later today if they can pull him apart from his newborn baby. That he's obviously announcing further well, an update on the lockdown situation. But I mean, with the news this week, with a lot of construction firms going back to sort of normal working, well, as normal as can be, delivery, i.e. Taylor Wimpey, Red Row, etc. I think have announced this morning that they're implementing a plan to restart. And I think that's going to, a lot of smaller firms, smaller developers, smaller construction firms are going to follow suit. And yeah, and then it's going to make make us on the back of that more busy, because we're going to have to go to site and carry on with our monitoring or project management services alongside that, because we are part of the construction system. So that, yeah, I think we're a lot will come today of what Boris says, but I think that generally the construction industry is trying to carry on as safely and as normal as possible. So
in the long term, this is a very hard question to answer. We're streaming on YouTube, so massive thanks to my YouTube followers, subscribers, whether you're listening live or at a later time. Alex, in terms of the long-term picture, and this could be quite a lengthy answer, but where do you see surveying going post COVID-19 long term?
That's a tough question. I think, well, a lot of our services correlate with the market, so it's where the market's going. I think there are a lot of different sort of crystal ball theories at the moment, between some people that think it's going to be quite a significant drop in the housing market. Sort of, I've heard up to sort of 20-25% in some cases from actually some reasonable sized house builders, and others are being a bit more optimistic. I think that for us as surveyors, I think it's going to in the sort of next year's 18 months, our landlord and tenant stuff's going to, services are going to be required. I mean, there's going to be a lot of tenants wanting to break or negotiate a surrender in their leases, especially in the retail sector and in the office sector. So that generates work for us on the sort of dilapidations front. And on the acquisition side, obviously it correlates directly with if stuff's being brought. So yeah, I think that before pre-COVID, I think there was a big, in the surveying industry generally, there's quite a big, obviously with the rise of prop tech and obviously software and different sort of cloud-based solutions, I think that it's moving, that might be accelerated a little bit further forward in respect of what how it affects our industry.
So did you see usage of technology being more adamant? I know it's quite hard to use technology always on site, but do you see technology playing a more important role than possibly it has? Because there's been a backlog in terms of property using technology. Prop tech is one of the last sectors really to see dramatic increase of technology.
Yeah, I think it's due to the I think that property is still quite a traditional, especially in the corporate and commercial sectors. It's still very it's got a very traditional feel to it. So a lot of surveyors are of a certain age, including my business partner, who's the other side of 50, and obviously we have our own challenges on how we implement them systems that can be used for all, because obviously they've obviously there's different generations sort of working together. So I think that's generally felt by the industry as a whole. But I think I think that might be accelerated now, where the more mature surveyors have had to learn to work from home, learn to use Zoom, etc. And obviously they've that might accelerate the fact that they'll now be using more sort of cloud-based CRM management systems if they're rolling out like stock condition surveys or a large batch of surveys. So yeah, I think it will have an impact, definitely.
So just going on to Monday morning. So Monday mornings we go live every Monday morning just before 10 o'clock, as long as Zoom's working, as long as good connection. It usually is, thank goodness. So about 70 registered already for this coming Monday. Look, it's a wealth of knowledge. For this particular Monday, we've got a panel focused on the economy post-COVID-19. I'm particularly delighted to welcome Stephen Johnson, formerly from Shawbrook, onto that panel. So after the panel, we've got the breakout rooms. Do you want to just explain where people can gain most value from your breakout room, which is focused on build, plan, survey?
Yeah, definitely. So I mean, over the last, I think is it the third week now we'll be doing breakout rooms? Fourth week?
It's a good question. It's third or fourth week.
I mean, we've had some we've obviously the rooms chaired by sort of myself and Ben Richards of Our Architecture. We've had some really good sort of discussions with attendees or developers asking questions that have project specific queries or design related queries, planning related queries, which they want a sort of a 5-10 minute sort of piece of advice on, and it has worked really well. We've had some really good discussions. So I would sort of suggest to anyone that's looking to join our room that just to have any questions lined up, because you will get good value from myself and Ben. We're kind of there to assist and share knowledge with the attendees rather than talk about our own projects. So
that's from 11:30 to 12. So that session, just post panel, literally discussing what you're doing, any challenges in terms of design and build. Look, if you're thinking that's not our challenge, maybe it's funding, then I've got Daryl Norcutt from Lendwell, Sam Norris. It's a very busy room, to be fair. Sam Norris from Bond Finance, Paul Pinder from Ronald Fletcher Baker, solicitors, medium-sized law firm, and also Rob Wilkinson, a crowd with us. So that's one of the rooms. We've got another room which Jack's in, which is about finding deals. Got a room which is just focused on trading with Jay Howard, and a room with James Pick of Connection Focus on innovation. So to be fair, the rooms have evolved over the time. It's interesting, but it's also interesting how people's usage of Zoom has evolved as well. People using virtual backgrounds and so forth, and people going to the next levels. How can people reach you? Let's say that they can't come on to the Monday morning call. What other options do they have to join you?
So yeah, you can find me, Alex Hurn, on all the Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. Obviously we have company profiles on all of them as well. And actually today, Brendan, I know we haven't synced this up, but actually our new website drops live this morning. So that's silencehurn.co.uk, Sillence with 2 L's. So yeah, so that would be a good place to reach out to us.
Okay, and if people want to connect with you on Instagram, you're on Instagram as well?
On Instagram, yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Massive thanks to our listeners, and massive